Hi there. So I am making a second part to the Intro to Desmos video to explain a few more things. One is, so I'm done creating my screens. I'm happy with the layout. I'm happy with how it looks. I'm ready to publish. So I'm going to click the publish option, and then I most likely am ready to assign it to my classes. Let's say that I realize, oops, I meant to include something else in this. You can edit it here and edit the activity, or you can go right to assigning it to your class. If you click the drop down, it'll give you more options of whether you want to do a single session code or you want to assign it to your class. If you are assigning it to your class, it needs to be a Google Classroom that's been imported into Desmos Activity Builder, and that's sort of done in another spot, which I can't show you because it has my student names. But let's go back and say that we want to edit this and add another screen, and then we'll come back and kind of go through how to assign it. So I'm going to edit. Notice that there's other options on here as well. Lots of people share activities on the Desmos Facebook page to get help from other people. You can do that. Or copy and edit is like make a new copy of it and update it. If it's not an activity that you created, then you have only that option and not the option to edit it. So let's say that I'm happy with this, but I want to now add another screen. So I'm going to hit the addition button here, and let's say that I want to do a card sort. So the card sort is a full screen option, along with some others down here. And basically it's helping you create category, or you're telling students what the categories are and what things to match up in the categories, and then they do the matching. So I'm going to do math or text, although I do want to say normally when I make these for my students, I will go into Google Slides, I'll type what I want on the card, and then I'll take a screen capture of that image. I'll save the image, and then I'll import here as an image just to make it so it has a colorful background and different text. It makes it really obvious that it's its own like header, I guess. But here, because I'm not going to spend the time on that in the video, I'm going to hit the checkbox for large card, and then I'll type in caps the different categories. So for this, I'm going to have students sorting different equations into the categories of linear, quadratic, or neither. So linear, quadratic, neither. All right. And then I think it's like 6 or 7 equations that I have. So if I go to type an equation right now, it doesn't type it in math type. So you can see it looks a little bit not so great there, but then also I can't get any math symbols other than the ones that are directly on my keyboard. So I'm going to instead hit the math type, which is here. Now, when you do this, you do need to know some of the abbreviations for the shortcuts for certain things, and I'll say those as I go through them. This one you could just get straight from your keyboard. So let's say that this one is 3x equals the square root of y. So square root is SQRT and then y. So when I type those 4 letters, it changes it into a square root because I'm in math type. I'll hit math type again. And this one I want to have 2x squared. So this one's a common one that many math teachers know. You can use the caret, which is above the 6 on the keyboard, and then 2, and just it has me as an exponent on the cursor, so I just arrow to the right once to get out of that. Plus 5 equals 11y. And for this next one, everything's here on the keyboard for me. And let's do parentheses for this one. Oops, let's do y. And for this one, let's do a cube root. X equals, all right, so cube root is CBRT. You can see that when I typed that in, it changed it over. So I've got every card created. If I go into preview right now, you'll be able to see sort of what it looks like. You can see that a lot of the cards look the same at a really quick glance. And that's why I made these headers capitalized. They're still not standing out all that much from the other cards, and I like to make it really obvious for students. So if this was an activity that I was creating for my students, I would, probably put them in color. Again, by inserting an image that I've created. All right, so I've got the three categories: linear, quadratic, neither. And when students go to sort them, let's just say that a student puts this into quadratic, you'll see that it can join up with the other cards when it's been overlapped. So you'll get that blue border around one of them, and then they will join up. It does not matter which card is above the other. It'll still count it as correct if it's in the right pile, and it'll count it as incorrect if it's in the wrong pile. And on the teacher dashboard, I'm just getting the dot. And so that's because I haven't set up an answer key. Now, just like multiple choice, you can set up an answer key on here and it will self-correct it. So that's a really great thing to know how to do. Let's do that right now. We're going to go to the fourth bullet down, which is answer key. And it just sort of scatters it around just like it was on the last screen. This time we know that it's an answer key because it sort of says it up at the top. So that's helpful for us. All right, so this one is neither. I want to make sure to put them in the right piles right now because I am making the answer key quadratic, linear. Let's see, this one's going to be quadratic. This one's going to be neither. All right, so I've got all the cards sorted. Again, it does not matter the order that they're in. So if a student puts the same cards in the neither stack that are currently here, but they're in a different order, it'll still mark it correct. So I'm going to hit done. Now when I go to preview, again, this is the student preview. What will they see? They'll see the cards. And up here, they will not see the X. That's just so that you know when you're designing your activity what you'll see depending on what the student has done. So notice that if I haven't sorted anything, it marks it wrong. If I put one of the things in the right spot, it still says that it's wrong. It's going to continue to say that things are wrong, even if I have some of it right, just because when it says right or wrong, it means it's right only if everything is right. If everything is not right, there are everything wrong or parts that are wrong, then it will mark it as wrong. All right, let's see, square, square, quadratic, quadratic. Oops, this one's quadratic. All right, so I've got everything sorted correctly, and I'm getting the check mark up here at the top. So that's what you'll see on your teacher dashboard for the students, and they'll see what they've sorted, but they won't get feedback on it unless you create a feedback screen. And to do that, you need some CL knowledge, some computation layer knowledge, coding. So let's publish this. And we can either look at the student preview to see what they will see, although when you're creating your own activity, you kind of see that already. And I can assign. So if I click the regular assign, you can see that I've got different classes here, and I could just put a checkbox on the ones that I want to assign and go down here and assign it. I could post it immediately. I could post it as a draft, however you want to have it set up, and you can edit those preferences. So that takes care of our second video in the series. All right, take care.